Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kim, otherwise known as the Booker Harlot. Now, I have a confession for you. This is not the reading vlog you were expecting. So, if you don't know me, I read a lot around long lists of prizes. I absolutely adore prizes because they bring new to me authors and they highlight writers in such a unique way. So I obviously the Booker Prize is my favorite, and the Women's Prize just ended as well as the International Booker. Now I am having a stellar reading year. I am 2 books away from finishing off the Women's Prize long list, and I'm 3 books away from finishing off the Booker International. And to be honest, one of them I don't think I'm going to be able to get my hands on, and that is a record for me for both prizes. Now, I started a vlog a couple days ago, maybe 5 days ago, and I was going to read I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel. Notice that I'm talking in the past tense, from the Women's Prize long list, and Curse Bread by Sophie McIntosh. And that will have completed the Women's Prize long list. And I commute a lot, about 2 hours a day, so I was going to listen to Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies by Maddie Mortimer, which made the Booker Prize long list last year, and I didn't get to it. Now, I have a very bad habit of acquiring all of the books from the long list, and I always purchase the Booker International winner when it's available because I'm in Canada. It's very hard for me to get a lot of the books. This year has been absolutely incredible. It's blown the roof off of everything. Uh, Regardless, um, I started listening to this and I got about, I think, 8 hours into it. And I realized I wasn't really listening to it, I was tuning out of it. And I would sit down in the morning for my reading time and I would pick up one of these books and I would put it down. Now, I said this year to myself that I was not going to do what I do every single year, which is after the prize is done, go back to the books that I haven't read and read a couple pages and say, oh, this is amazing, and put it down because something else comes along. Now, what I forgot about this time of year is that I think I have a bit of a prize hangover. Does this ever happen to you? Do you ever hit a reading slump because the prizes have ended, the hype is over, the winners have been announced? And I think a large part of it is because I have been reading so intensely and so focused on everything about that book that I think I just need to take a little break. So, one of the things I do when I hit a reading slump or a reading hangover is I go to my favorite cozy mystery thrillers. And the funny thing is, my 2 authors of choice that sort of cleanse my palate and let my brain relax a little bit both have the last name of French. So I thought I would listen to Nikki French's Blue Monday, the Frida, I always want to say Frida Kahlo, Frida Klein series, which Jen Campbell turned me on. Now, I've read the entire series. I absolutely love it, but I thought just to give myself a little bit of break, I would listen to the audiobook because one, it has been criticized for having a big cast, and it has a big cast, but I know the cast and I know all of the twists and turns. But I think that their writing will stand up to a reread, and I think the audiobook will be very interesting to listen to because of all of the different accents. Um, so I'm going to give that a go. And then J.K. Reeds turned me on to Tana French. So I have read the second in the series called The Likeness, and I loved it. Now, the reason I started off with the second book is because I couldn't get a hold of the first book. I could have ordered the first book, but the one that was available to me has the cheesiest cover with the tie-in to, I think it's a BBC series, and I have a particular pet peeve about having tie-ins on covers. I just can't stand it. But a while ago, I came across this edition. It's a used copy, and I thought, this would just be perfect. This is what I'm in the mood for. We have, 6 weeks off. Well, now the Booker Prize is 4 weeks away on August 1st. And I'm just going to take it easy this week and read by whim and enjoy a cozy thriller. So let's get reading. So I've just finished Tana French's In the Woods, and as you can see, I have all the fur babies with me. Wednesday and Ripley. And my loves. This was incredibly good. I just went from someone who was staring down at a book, not being able to pick it up because I was in such a reading slump, to reading this book and thinking, oh, I'm about halfway through. I should film something. No, 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 no. I'm going to read instead. And lo and behold, I didn't film anything. And I finished this 600-page book like it was nothing. So this is about Rob, who is in the murder squad in Dublin. I just got abandoned. And his partner, Cassie, and their investigation into a murder. It has a very, very interesting parallel subplot in the fact that Rob, as a child, was disappeared into the woods with his playmates, and he was the only one who came out alive, but he doesn't remember any of it. And he and his partner Cassie are the only ones who know this. And the murder that they investigate has very peculiar similarities. So it is a very intricate subplot to play off of the main plot and to keep those timelines true. And Tana French does an amazing job of it. I'm actually shocked about how many twists and turns and how many nuances are all working together at the same time, but it works out really, really well. Now, one of the problems I had, and it's only because I read the second book first. So the second book is called The Likeness, and it is told in first person from Cassie's point of view. Now, In the Woods is told in the first person from Rob's point of view. And first of all, I think that that is an incredibly brave choice by an author in a series to do it from two different perspectives. But because this is first person and I read the second book first, I kept thinking that whenever I saw the word I, that it was Cassie, but it's Rob. And it took me about 300 pages to get rid of that notion, but it still worked. And that's a me thing. That's not a problem with the book. One of the cheeky things that the author did, was towards the end of the book, Rob directly addresses the reader. And I think that this is quirky and very well done because it had the chance to tank the whole book, because it is such a wow moment, because this is written in the first person. Rob is telling you his story, but you're not aware that Rob knows that you're there. And then all of a sudden he's in your face telling you all these things. And it was such a breath of fresh air and so well done. So I highly recommend this book. I highly recommend this series. And I can't wait to see what she does with a third book. But I will not be getting to the third book until after the Booker winner is announced. So on to the next book. It's an audiobook. It is the first in the Frida Klein series by Nikki French. It's called Blue Monday. The audiobook is narrated by Beth Chalmers. And this is a reread for me. And its main character is Frida Klein. She is a psychiatrist who unwittingly ends up in the middle of an investigation by the police and attracts the attention of a kidnapper slash killer. And she is one of the most unforgettable characters I have ever read. I love Frida Klein. I'm there to reread, and it's something I normally don't do or re-listen to. So I am really looking forward to spending more time with Frida, even though I know the story. So I've just finished listening to the audiobook of Blue Monday by Nikki French, and it was excellent. So if you don't know, Nikki French is a husband and wife team that wrote this series, along with a lot of standalone books that are just fantastic. I have read all 8 in this series, and the main character is named Frida Klein. And this is a pandemic discovery for me. I don't normally read a lot of mystery or thrillers per se. So I have read all 8 books in the past 3 years and love them all. I can't say that one of them stands out more than the others. I think that they're all fantastic and really enjoyed reading them. Now, one of the trepidations I had about making this video was if you've read a mystery and you know all the twists and turns and plot twists, is this really going to stand up? And I was hoping it would, because I really, really like their writing and I want to be able to reread or re-listen and enjoy their books. Now, one of the criticisms when for the first book from a lot of people, and not necessarily myself, but I did encounter this, is that the cast is too big. And it is a large cast, but once you get to know them, because so many of them reoccur over and over again in the book, that it's just like family. It's just like you pick up the third or the fourth book and you know exactly who everybody is and where they are and what stage of their life they're in and what relationships they had, and it's just lovely. It's a lovely experience. Anyways, this audiobook and the first listen / second read of this book, it absolutely stood up to the test of time. Just because I know the plot and the twists doesn't mean that this book didn't interest me. And I think that it added to it because I did know all the twists and turns. I was able to pick up on like these tiny little Easter eggs that they hid in their writing. Like, there's little, well, I won't give anything away, but there's, if you're reading this for the first time or listening to the first time, listen and read really, really carefully, and you might pick up on some of the nuances. Looking back, I don't think I would have, even if I was reading very, very slowly and looking at everything with a microscope. But fantastic read. The narrator did a wonderful, wonderful job in terms of the accents and the dialects and creating different voices. I really loved that when Joseph was speaking, I knew exactly who was speaking. And Joseph's one of my favorite sub-characters too. This isn't a spoiler, who comes crashing through a ceiling. So spectacular entrance for a character. Anyways, I'm really, really glad that I did this. I feel like my brain is reset and that I'm ready for a reading challenge. So the Booker is going to be announced in a couple weeks, but I thought because of the books that have come in right now that next week I'm going to do a challenging week and I'm going to read some highly anticipated reads. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you in a video again. Please comment if you have read either one of these books or are planning on reading them. And please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.